What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very quick update on the markets. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Webull link. If you deposit any amounts of money into the account, you are guaranteed 12 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20, and deposits $2,000 or more, you're guaranteed 40. The offer ends in just 3 days. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So one thing I was mentioning is the fact that SPY came up to this high here, came down, and it's been making lower highs. And whether or not we get a big dip or not is going to depend on another factor. Just know that I have a warning for everyone. Tomorrow we have PayPal's earnings in the morning, and we're going to be starting our big tech earnings reports. So that could cause some high volatility. The market might gap up and start pushing tomorrow morning, or it could see a gap down and start dipping a little bit, depending on how these earnings end up going. So you want to keep that in mind. So that being said, my job is not to just be very biased when I say these things. I just want to give you guys a heads up that anything could happen. So if you're holding anything overnight starts, I would say that this is the time to start being very careful, as we have all these very important earnings coming out. One thing I was mentioning about SPY is the fact that we're very choppy right now. We're not really doing much. That's why I didn't really upload any other videos. It's been doing the same thing, just kind of stuck in this range, going back and forth and back and forth. If we do end up losing 579.65, we're going to likely test the lows from Friday/Thursday. So we're going to be coming back down to these lows down here if that ends up breaking. And if we manage to break past 584, we're going to be looking more bullish. I do want to call out the fact that SPY has been really struggling to break past the 585 area. It's a very tough resistance. So as of right now, this is looking like it's a little bit more risky. So just be very careful. And there is a risk of downside if earnings end up dragging things lower. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm just here to give you guys that warning about the trend that's kind of weakening. We look at ES, we formed a top here, rejected, top here, rejected, top here, and we are starting to slow down. We still have this gap down here to fill. So we're looking a little bit weaker on ES as well. So that doesn't guarantee anything. It depends on earnings, obviously, but I just want to give you guys that heads up that the trend is starting to slow down. And we'll see what happens with these big earnings. We'll see what they lead to. Nvda started to slow down a bit only to get bought back up. So it's trying to hold 141, the 20 and 50 EMAs. If that fails us, this could be dipping to 138 or below. For Bitcoin, we are still pushing very nicely, approaching 70,000. That's going to be a resistance. There is a bearish divergence forming on it. Despite that, we still look bullish. So we're looking for 70,000 as our target. It looks like it could keep going. Tesla is now starting to slow down. So we went up to about 276, just under my 278's target. Came a little bit short of that, but instead of holding 270, now we're struggling to hold it. So now Tesla's finally starting to get that slowdown. So if we don't bounce off 262, I could see a risk of Tesla coming back down here towards the 260 area, and then this imbalance will take us all the way down towards 256. So be careful, guys. 262, 260, and 256 are our supports. We're just barely holding up on Tesla. I'm just going to go over, I'm just going to go over a couple more. NQ pumped very nicely to 20,700. Now we're slowing down again. Don't forget, we're very close to these highs up here. This is going to be greatly impacted by PayPal's earnings. So we'll see if we get a launch or a dump. So be very careful with that. Same thing with the QQQ. Will we launch above 500? Will we break? Just know that every time we've hit 500 or the low 500s, we have rejected historically on the QQQ. So it's a tough resistance. So be careful. This isn't a great time to be like buying the dip, thinking we're going to continue to run, because we're at a tough resistance. Just keep that in mind. There is a risk of us coming down to 494. If that fails, this 492 is next. Hasn't happened yet, but just be very mindful of that. Apple's been pushing very nicely, just around 235, which is what my target was. Now it's slowing down a little bit. We're looking at the 50 EMA at 231.5 as our target, so just be very careful with that. So anyways, with that being said, I want to make this video super quick and simple. Just know that the market is in a more risky place, and be very careful if you're holding anything overnight as you have earnings coming out. So we'll see how things end up going. I'm going to cut this short. I will be going over all the other tickers like AMD and the others in my later video. Until then, please have a great day, guys, and peace out.